Welcome back to Crazy Dave's Crew. I'm Laura, and you're watching Thursday Threads. I don't know if you've noticed, but some of those quilting groups on Facebook, they're starting to ramp up their swaps, and I joined one for the month of July. It is Grandmother's Choice, and it's with the group Simply Swapping. So thank you, Simply Swapping, for hosting a block swap. If you've not joined that particular group, or if you have not done any swaps, they'll announce the pattern, they'll give you directions, and they'll tell you what size and what colors you need to use. But there are a number. Quilt Block Lottery is still doing monthly blocks, Simply Swapping, and I really liked this one. I also am liking next month's, so I may be doing that one as well. But it's Grandmother's Choice. It's a 15.5-inch block. Well, I looked up and I found, I'm just telling y'all, I really like this, my little block tool. And there is Grandmother's Choice. And it gives me the sizes for a 5-inch finished block, a 7.5, a 10-inch, a 12.5, and a 15-inch finished block. So a 15-inch finished block is a 15.5-inch unfinished. So I can do whatever size I want to. But the swap calls for a 15.5-inch. So I am following those cut-out instructions. Let's get started. So this swap called for green, yellow, and tan. And so these are the colors I chose out of my stash. And for the most part, these are now my little itsy bitses, especially my yellow. I cut my yellows, and I always cut extra. For each block, you need 5 3.5-inch squares. Yeah. So you need 5 3.5-inch squares of the yellow. You need to cut 3 7/8-inch blocks and then bisect from one diagonal to the other. So you're going to make triangles. So that was 3 7/8, and then cut on the diagonal. You need to cut 4 of those squares, which means you need 8 triangles. You're going to cut 2 squares of 6 7/8, and you're going to cut them in triangles. So you need 4 of these. And last but not least, you need 4 rectangles, and they are 6.5 by 3.5. I have my scissors, I have some pins, I have my machine. I'm using my 1/4-inch piecing foot, and I'm using white and cream thread. So I'm going to put these big squares aside for now. And I'm going to work on my yellow 3.5-inch squares, and then my green triangles that were cut from 3 7/8-inch squares. And I always need to lay them out so that I know what I'm doing. And of course, you know, I may be too big. That's all okay, because you can always trim it down, you know. And we always also want to make sure that we've got enough of a seam allowance. We don't want any of our seams to be small. So that is our first unit. After we've attached our 2 small triangles, then we will attach our large triangle. And we will square up as we go. And I said, just remember, you always have about 1/4 inch dog ear. So we're good. But I'm going to sew this and this. And you are going to need to have 4 of these units because you have 4 corners. And those of you who have watched me before, you know I believe in the assembly line. So I'm going to do, double checking my placement. Which side am I sewing it to? Because there is nothing worse than sewing it down and finding out I did that the wrong way. And triangles do it to me. I don't know about you guys, but trying to attach the triangles. So I'm going to go ahead and pin out 4 or 5 of these. And I'm going to match up my 2 sides with the yellow. Grandmother's Choice is an old pattern. I read somewhere that it's like the 1800s. I'm not sure when in the 1800s, but and I'm sure it goes by many other names. Most of them do. And go by other names as well. Guess it all depends on where you're at and what you were taught as a kid. I have this book by Maggie Malone, and it'll tell you, it's like 5,500 quilt blocks and their names. And you'll find it on the page, and it'll tell you it's called this and this and this and this and this. So those are always fun. Alright, so I've got them pinned. I've got my yellow with my light green, and you can see I've got it lined up on these 2 sides, and I'm going to sew on this side. Let's do that. Make sure I'm in the right spot. Using my 1/4 inch piecing foot. If you don't have the needle in the center, it's going to hit one of the sides, and you can break the needle. You're going to get the error and all that kind of stuff, and it's just frustrating. So here we go. And I am going to back stitch. Let's do another one. And what I tried to do is put my pins going, the pointed part is going the direction that I need to put in my machine. So if I put them down and I don't come back for a few hours, I'm not lost. And if you've got kids, grandkids, in my case a disease that makes you tired, sometimes you gotta walk away from it, and then you come back and you're going, I don't know what I was doing. Those are always fun. I'm going to clip off some of this string. I'm going to press it open now. I love this. Y'all did not see me ironing that just now. I'm pressing it. Yeah, pressing it. And sometimes when I'm doing my seams, I like to kind of roll it till I get it good. Alright, so that's what we're going to look like. Now we're going to put another one on this side. I'm going to line it up with the yellow. After I get it placed, I always like to flip it back open again just to make sure, and yes, I've got the right spot, so yay. Sometimes it's the little things that get you excited. Alright, so there we go. Okay, and I'm just going to sew that one down. And never wasting my leader and ender. I'm going to do another first seam. Let's press this open and see how I did. Okay, so far, I'm going to measure from here where the fabric line is to the point, and if it's at a 1/4 inch, I'm going to leave it alone. Got my ruler here. Oh, that's perfect. Let me show you. Okay. So I'm going to put my ruler right across that line. It's nice and straight. Okay. And look at that. My 1/4 inch line is right at that point. So I could cut that off if I wanted to. You don't have to. So I'm going to get my next piece and put on here. And we're just going to line it up. And it should line up just perfectly. Oh, I got a little wrinkle. Oh, that's good. I like that. Very nice. So if we look at that, do you see any of the yellow or the green? Maybe just a smidge of the yellow. Just about perfect. I love it when that happens, when you've cut it and it's just awesome. So I'm going to sew this down, and then I'm going to go finish up all the corners, and I'll come back and show you what we do next. So you need to have 4 of these for each block. And I have 3 ladies in my group that I need to send to, so I need to have 1 for myself and 3 to mail out. So don't go away. I'll be back in just a second with my corners finished, and we'll take the next step. Alright, so I have gotten my corners done. And this is going to be pretty much like, you know, it's a 9 patch. I'm going to take my green, and that's going to go there and there. And I went ahead and did my yellow in the center. So we're going to sew these together, sew these together, and then just put the rows together. Ta-da! I have pressed towards the green on each of these so that when I want to pin, I can do a good nesting. You just kind of move that along until you feel it just drop right in. And then you can see that it's going to be a nice seam. So that's just going to jet right in there. And you're just going to do that for both of these. Let's go do that. Grandmother's Choice, a swap in the group Simply Swapping on Facebook. This is a 15.5 inch. And of course, if you want to make it in different sizes, you can always refer to the handy dandy block tool, and it will give you lots of measurements for different sizes. I hope that this has been helpful. I hope you've enjoyed, and I really hope you'll think about joining some of the block swaps coming up. They can be a lot of fun. And oh, I got 3 more to do. 1 from me and 3 to mail out. I better get busy. I certainly hope you'll subscribe, like, and make comments. We like comments. Send us pictures on Facebook under Sewing and Crocheting for Beginners. We love pictures. And don't forget to find that video about the contest and check out the new channel of DIY Dave and Company. Above all, don't forget to come back. I'll see you right here. Thank you for watching and have a great week.